All right, let's talk about something that feels like it's pulled straight out of science fiction. We're diving into a technology called Gaussian Splatting. And trust me, it's completely changing the game by letting us turn our flat 2D photos into these incredible 3D worlds that we can actually explore. Let's get into it.
You ever look at a photo, maybe from a vacation or a favorite memory, and just wish you could be there? Like really step inside and walk around, see what's just out of frame? For the longest time, that was just a daydream. But a huge breakthrough in computer graphics is making that an actual reality.
Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, we got to talk about a fundamental problem that's been bugging 3D graphics forever. For decades, it's been this constant battle, this trade-off between two things: making scenes that look absolutely beautiful and realistic, and being able to explore them smoothly in real time.
This right here sums it all up. You had these older methods like neural radiance fields, or NeRFs, which were amazing. The visual quality they could pump out was just stunning. But, and this is a big but, they were incredibly slow. It could take minutes just to render a single frame, which is totally useless for anything interactive like a game or a VR experience. The dream, the absolute holy grail, has always been to get both, that high quality and real-time speed.
And that is exactly where 3D Gaussian Splatting, or 3D-GS for short, just bursts onto the scene. Back in 2023, a paper came out that didn't just move the needle a little bit. It completely shattered that old barrier between quality and speed.
So what is this stuff? Well, in the simplest terms, instead of building a scene out of traditional 3D polygons, Gaussian splatting uses millions of tiny, colorful, semi-transparent particles. The best way to think about it is like 3D paint splats, or maybe fuzzy little colored clouds. When you layer millions of these together, they create a perfectly photorealistic image from any angle you look at it.
And the advantages here are what make it a total game changer. You're getting top-of-the-line visual quality, but you can render it in real time. We're talking 30 frames per second or higher at 1080p. The training doesn't take forever either. And one of the most brilliant parts is that it's super efficient. It only renders particles where there's actually something in the scene, so it doesn't waste any processing power on empty space.
Okay, so that's the theory, which is cool and all. But how do you actually do this? How do you go from a bunch of pictures on your phone to a 3D world you can walk through? Well, the process is actually more straightforward than you might think. It all starts with photos. You just take a whole bunch of pictures of something from all different angles. Then, you feed those images into a program like CLMap, which uses a process called structure from motion to figure out where you were standing for each photo. It spits out a kind of basic 3D skeleton of the scene. Then, the real magic happens. The Gaussian Splatting optimizer takes that sparse skeleton and transforms it into millions of detailed, colorful 3D Gaussians. The last step? You just open it up in a viewer and start exploring.
And maybe the best part of all is how accessible this is. The whole project is open source, just sitting there on GitHub. The community has made tons of amazing tutorials and even Google Colab notebooks, so you can try it out without a supercomputer. This isn't some secret tech locked away in a lab. It's a tool you can start playing with right now.
But you know how it goes. Just as everyone was getting the hang of this incredible new tool, a new, much tougher test showed up. I mean, if this tech is all about stepping inside a photo, then the ultimate test has to be virtual reality, right? And once people started trying it in VR, the illusion started to crack.
Just look at this comparison. On a regular monitor, the scene looks awesome. It's crisp, it's clean, but the moment you put it inside a VR headset with its super wide field of view, all these weird visual glitches and artifacts start popping up. Every little movement of your head, plus the way your eyes see in stereo, just magnifies every single tiny imperfection. And these aren't just minor annoyances. We're talking about really jarring stuff. There's this popping, where parts of objects just flicker in and out of existence as you move your head. You get these weird, stretched out splotches at the edge of your vision, kind of like God rays, and these awful floaters, particles that just don't look right in 3D and break the illusion. On top of all that, the performance would tank, dropping way below the 72 frames per second you need to avoid feeling sick in VR. It just wasn't the seamless experience it needed to be.
So to fix all these VR-specific headaches, the technology had to evolve. And that led to a brand new approach called VR Splat, which was designed from the ground up to create a really solid, artifact-free experience inside a VR headset. Now, VR Splat isn't a total rewrite. It's actually much cleverer than that. Think of it as a greatest hits album. It combines a bunch of other recent breakthroughs in the field. It takes techniques that fix flickering, get rid of distortions, and make things run faster, and it rolls them all into one elegant solution just for VR.
And wow, the results speak for themselves. On the left, you can see all those cloudy, messy artifacts and floaters that were ruining the experience before. But on the right, with VR Splat, it's just clean, it's stable, it's solid. The sense of being there is totally preserved. This is how it's supposed to look.
And hey, it's not just me saying it looks better. People can actually feel the difference. They ran a user study, and the preference for VR Splat was just overwhelming. Look at those bars for fewer artifacts, and overall preference. It's not even close. People massively preferred the clean, stable image that VR Splat delivered.
And here's the kicker. VR Splat delivers this incredible quality while hitting that all-important performance number for VR, a rock-solid 72 frames per second, or even higher. So it doesn't just look better, it feels better. No more motion sickness.
This little table tells such a cool story. The original 3D-GS method was super fast, but then, when people started bolting on other techniques to fix the artifacts, things got a lot slower. VR Splat's secret weapon is a clever trick called foveated rendering. Basically, it copies how your own eyes work. It renders the very center of your vision in super high detail, and the stuff in your periphery in lower detail. And with that one change, boom, the speed is right back where it needs to be. You get the best of both worlds, flawless quality and blazing fast performance.
So, what does this all mean for the future? Well, this insane pace of innovation points to one thing for sure. This technology is here to stay, and it is getting better literally by the day.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It's absolutely wild. The first paper comes out in 2023. Within months, the open source community just ran with it, improving and building on it. And now we're already seeing these super specialized solutions like VR Splat that are tackling the next big frontier. The speed here is just breathtaking.
And it's not slowing down one bit. The core technology is constantly being updated with new features inspired by all this amazing research. We're talking things like better ways to remove floaters, anti-aliasing to get rid of jagged edges, and even new ways to make the training process almost 3 times faster. This thing is a living, breathing project.
Which, brings us right back to that first question. This isn't just about making pretty pictures. Think about the possibilities. Virtual tourism, preserving cultural heritage sites forever, creating ultra-realistic training simulations, and brand new kinds of entertainment we haven't even dreamed of yet. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What new realities are we going to create now that we can finally actually step inside any photo?